Hey friends, it's Natalia and welcome back to She Makes 31. Today I'm going to be showing you how we built this kids table and chairs for our boys. Many of the tables that we had shopped for online were either not the right size or the right price or even in stock. So we took it upon ourselves to make our own and we are so happy with the way it turned out, and our boys are using it every single day. This was the first time we made any kind of furniture, so I'll be showing you every step of the way so that you too can learn how to make this set for your kiddos. Lots of firsts here, guys, and I'm really excited to show you how it turned out. Make sure you stay around till the end and I'll share with you a really cool activity I did with the boys on our new table. All right, let's get started. So here are some of the supplies that we used for this project. I'll link everything down below in the description box, as well as the link to the original woodworking plans by Anna White. We did alter them to make them to our liking, so I'll also put in what we changed in the description box. The only tool that we didn't have on hand for this was called a Craig jig tool. We got the very basic Craig jig tool for $20 at the local hardware store, and all the other supplies like the clamps, the speed square, the sander drill, and all that stuff we already had on hand. Most of the wood that was used for this was 1x3 furring strips, which are really inexpensive. They're like $1 and change a piece. And then we did 2x2s for all the table legs and the chair legs. So we went ahead and cut those, and I also sanded them down. The furring strips can be a little rough looking just because they are cheap wood. You could get a better quality wood if you wanted to, but we just wanted to keep the cost as low as possible.
So in the kit, pocket hole kit, they give you this measuring tool, and you can measure. You could see that it comes up and it measures. It goes to the 3/4 line, and then you take your bit, which I already have it set on, and this is actually an Allen wrench also, and the bit is marked with the different measurements, and this collar keeps the drill bit from going in too far. Actually, just make sure that it goes in the right depth, and you just use the Allen wrench and you tighten it and loosen it here. And so we've got it on our 3/4 setting because the wood was 3/4. And then the other setting that you have to make sure you have in line is on the pocket hole tool itself. You can see where I already have the 3/4 highlighted. You press this button and this slides, and if you were doing 1.5, you would want to make sure that this is highlighted, but we want 3/4, so you want it to slide until it locks into place and that 3/4 is highlighted. If it was 1/2 inch, you would want it here. So you just put it here, make sure it's locked into place, and then this will hold the pocket hole tool on the wood like so when you want to drill your holes. So I'm clamping the Craig jig, make sure I have it in the right spot, clamping it down, make sure it's straight, make sure it stays in place, and this is in the way. See?
You took off the other clamp because it was in the way.
It was in the way of the drill. So
we're going to do this.
Should be pretty easy because it lines it all up.
Woohoo! Got a pocket hole. How fancy. Alright, so do the other one.
Line up the next one.
We are learning as we go, guys. This is totally new for us. So we're showing it to you guys as like beginners ourselves, because it's good to challenge yourself and learn new things, right?
That's right.
The second hole. And you drill it until you reach the little shank there, right?
The collar.
The collar, okay. And you go slow because you don't want the wood to crack. Yay, beautiful. Legs of the table. So legs of the tables we had cut to 24 inches because we wanted it taller since we have a range of ages. In the boys, we wanted to make sure that little to small can fit. So with the Kreg jig, you have to use these pocket hole screws, and these are 1.25 inches. And this is what they look like.
And the Kreg jig comes with a bit.
A drill. Let me see. Okay, cool. Screw this in. Before you screw this in, we're going to use some wood glue. So what you see us putting together here is the table. This is considered the apron pieces, and we're attaching those to the legs of the table. We wanted to go ahead and assemble the table first, build the frame, and then after that work on the tabletop. After we built the frame, we went ahead and put these pocket holes throughout the whole entire apron piece. And then after that, I centered it on the tabletop and screwed it in with the Kreg jig screws and with the drill that was already on there. Next was filling in all the holes. Now they are on the outside, and the reason why we kept them on the outside is because according to the plans that we saw, it said that in order to reduce the chance of it cracking on you, the wood, it was best to put the pockets on the outside. Next, I went ahead and sanded the table. I started with an 80 grit sandpaper and worked my way to a 220 grit at the very end. I wanted to get all of the knots filled in and cracks in the wood. And after sanding, I don't know if you could see here, but there's still like little cracks in the wood and scratches. So I had this plastic wood filler that I had left over. I just added some water to it to make it just a little bit more pasty. And I started just putting this on top of the tabletop, like the big indentations that I saw or scratches that I saw. I put that in there. It was very hot outside, so it dried pretty quickly. Then after that, I scraped off any excess and made sure the surface was flat. But I still wasn't happy. I didn't want wood grain showing. So then I found this really cool wood filler. It was my first time using it. It's premium wood filler. And what you can do with it is you can actually thin it out enough to look like a paint almost. And you brush it on and you fill in the wood grain. So I wanted a very smooth tabletop, and this was the way to achieve that. So I painted this on like if it was paint, watered it down enough for it to be like the consistency of paint, and just brushed it on. If this is your first time on my channel, I just want to say welcome and thank you for stopping by. I'm Natalia. I'm a mom of 3 boys, and I love to make videos like this on YouTube, decorating videos, DIY videos, and just all things mom life. I also wanted to share with you guys that we had a jigsaw and we used that to cut the wood, but I also wanted to show you guys how you can use a miter box saw. And so no power tool is needed. The big cuts of wood for like the tabletop can be done at the hardware store at no cost to you. So you don't really need a saw. We just use this to make it faster for us. but know that a simple miter box and handsaw will work just fine for this. And for your other larger pieces, you can just have those cut at the hardware store. And here my husband was cutting down all the wood that we were going to use for the chairs. I went ahead and gave those pieces a sand with 80 grit sandpaper. Next, it was time to sand off this tabletop. A lot of sanding dust going through, so I suggest that you wear masks for this. But again, started with an 80 grit sandpaper, then moved on to 150 and then 220. Okay, so I've sanded this down to a 220 grit, which is a very fine grit sandpaper, and it feels smooth as butter. I don't know if you can see everything that's filled in. This is completely smooth. Any little defects and the grain of the wood is all filled now, and that'll give me that nice smooth, like this. This was like a scratch, I think, and now it's completely gone. So yes, a little bit of extra work involved, not necessary, but if you really want a smooth top, you can go ahead and do this. All right, so now back to the chairs. Ronnie here is putting in all the pocket holes into all of the pieces for the chairs. It seemed like we did 1,000 pocket holes, but it was all worth it in the end. I just love the way these chairs came out. But yeah, lots of work here with the pocket holes. We don't have an appropriate workbench, so we had this coffee table that we were working with here, which made it a little bit challenging when using the clamp and stuff. It would shift a little bit, but it worked, and you know, it's it works for us. Now that we've built this table and chairs, we definitely want to invest in a workbench so that we can keep on building more things. So here you see the pieces, and this is what they look like when they're put together. We still have to put in the inside pieces to give more support, but he's building the frame here of each chair. Here are the inside support pieces I just mentioned, and he put pocket holes in those as well. Now, can you build this without a pocket hole tool? Absolutely. The reason why we use this pocket hole tool is because we wanted to make sure that the nails or screws were not going to be like poking out. We wanted it to be as seamless as possible. So we thought that this would be a great way to do that. And the original plans did use that, so that was also a reason. But here we are adding in the inside supports to make it very sturdy. And then we did change up the plan that was original, used like small pieces of wood for the tabletop and for the table or the chair tops, but we decided to get like solid pieces of wood for the tabletop and for the tops of the chairs. Next, we put in the back pieces to the chairs. It was late at night here and we were running out of light, so we moved our work inside. And then little hands wanted to get involved. So we went ahead and put some wood glue here and then put the solid piece on top. Yes, the chair is a little wonky, I'm not gonna lie. It was not perfect by any means, but it's okay, we can even it out. We went ahead and nailed these in. We didn't want to use any screws on top. Again, same reason, we didn't want any nails, or I'm sorry, screw heads sticking out or anything like that. So we used some finishing nails and hammered those in. And then after that, I went in with this little nail head tool and just really dug them into the wood. That way I could use some nail filler to fill the little holes in. I also did use the premium wood filler for the rest of the seams and holes. So before painting the table and chairs, I use this bullseye shellac, and I spray this on wherever there is like a wood knot. Wood knots are notorious for coming up, like having what they call bleed through the paint. And because I was painting this white, I didn't want any bleed through, so I went ahead and sprayed the shellac on. And guys, look, I got a new toy. I got a paint sprayer, and I used that to paint the table. I wanted as seamless of a look as possible, and this really helped me achieve that. It was my first time using a paint sprayer, so totally new to me. I'll have to let you guys know as I keep on using it how I like it. And so yeah, I used Ultra Pure White by Behr in a semi-gloss finish, and it went on really well, really smooth. It covered up really well. I did get a lot of overspray, but I don't know if that's normal. I think I might have been using it a little too far away from the table. I think I should have gone in a little closer, but I know I will learn as I just keep on working with this. But I did 2 coats of the Ultra Pure White, and for the chairs, I went with a color called Dorian Gray by Sherwin-Williams, and I also used Behr paint for it, just matched it to that color. And this also took 2 coats of paint. Once the table and chairs were dry, I used this polyurethane in spray form, and I ended up doing about 4 to 5 coats, and I sanded with 220 grit sandpaper in between each coat except for the last coat. I really wanted to protect this tabletop and make sure that it could stand against 3 boys. Alright guys, it's finished and ready to use, and I am loving it. This is actually in our playroom and our soon-to-be homeschool room. I just wanted to show you guys how nice and smooth the top came out. I mean, the video doesn't do it justice. When you touch it, it's just like super soft, and I'm just loving it. The chairs, yes, didn't come out as, perfect as I wanted them to, but it's okay. It's our first time building something, and this is something that I can pass along to, our kids and our grandchildren one day. So we just are very proud of our work, and we feel like we can tackle more projects in the future.
Don't drench your desire in what you can't control. We fly, try so hard to get there, and we might, lost but not forever.
Hey guys, so I wanted to show you this really cool activity that the boys did together with me, and it's these little guys right here. You saw them at the beginning of the video. They actually made these. They were made with puzzles called Alessimo puzzles, and they're actually like a puzzle inside, and you cover it up with clay, modeling clay. And it's just really easy to put together. It's like a wooden 3D puzzle, and it's really cool because they get to match up numbers. So it helps them with matching numbers, identifying numbers. And, with the pandemic and everything going on, it just means more screen time for my kids, unfortunately. So I was just so excited to come across these and be able to give them something that they can work on with their hands. And how adorable are they? I mean, look at that. We're actually going to use them in their playroom as decorations. And I'm really excited because I have new shelves to put these up in. So I'll be showing you guys that. Make sure that you click in the description box because I do have a link so that you can receive 20% off of these Alessimo puzzles. They have different designs, not just dinosaurs. And so my kids loved them and we had a really good time putting them together, and it kept us busy for a long time. And so I would definitely recommend these. And I want to thank Alessimo for sponsoring this part of the video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You know, I know that we're all trying to figure out classrooms for our kids, so this table and chairs was awesome for us. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!